Today's class, let us continue the lesson, the heavenly parasol. So in our previous class, we learnt about Meghavahana, Amritaprabha, and how Amritaprabha garlanded Meghavahana in her Swayamvara, and how Meghavahana got the blessings of Lord Varuna through the heavenly parasol. And after returning back to his kingdom, how the ministers of the court of Kashmir offered him the throne to become the king, and he became the king of Kashmir. And after that he passed one law of not harming any living beings on this earth. So to impose that law, what did he do? He thought to do some expedition and conquer some of the kingdoms on this earth, so that he could impose his law of not harming any living beings in those kingdoms. So this first expedition he started, and it was to Lanka, where the demons live, because he wanted to teach them the life of peace, how to live peacefully without harming any living beings, because the Lankans were very cruel. They used to kill each other, or they harm others in their kingdom. So that's the reason why he selected Lanka for his first expedition. So up to here we learnt in our previous class. So let's just continue the lesson, the heavenly parasol. Let's begin. The paragraph 11. All of a sudden there was a cry in the air. It seemed to come from a wood by the shore, not far from where the royal horses were tethered. The cry came again, and the king heard the plaintive call. Even under Meghavahana's rule, I have been slain. So here, Meghavahana and his army was resting, or was taking rest in the seashore. All of a sudden there was a cry in the air. That means all of a sudden he heard a cry in the air, and it was coming from the nearby wood. Wood means here forest, not very far from the royal horses were tethered. What is the meaning of tethered here? Tethered means tied up. The royal horses, or the horses were tied up near the wood. So from that side he heard the sound of pain. Here the cry came again, and the king heard the plaintive call. So again and again the same sound was repeating, and he heard the plaintive call. What is the meaning of plaintive here? Plaintive means sad or painful. The cry was full of pain. So he heard the sound of pain, or the cry of pain. Here plaintive call means here the cry of painful. Here sad or painful also we can say. So what was that cry, or what did he hear? He heard, even under Meghavahana's rule I have been slain. So what was that cry? He heard that even under Meghavahana's rule, means Meghavahana was the king of that kingdom. So that's why that cry is even under Meghavahana's rule. So Meghavahana was known for his mercy or kindness or generosity. So that's why that call said, even under Meghavahana's rule I have been slain. What is the meaning of slain here? Slain means kill violently. So under such a greatest king Meghavahana, I have been slain. That means I have been killed so violently. So he started to hear all such words from a distant place, or from the woods. So here Meghavahana heard the sound of some person who was crying with the pain, and that call was like, under Meghavahana's rule, under such a great king, I have been slain, means I have been killed so violently, is the meaning or the explanation of this paragraph. So let's continue the 12th one. 12th paragraph. In his agitation, the king did not wait to summon his officers, but ran towards the wood. Plunging through the undergrowth, he fought his way till he came to a clearing. There before him was a temple of Chandika, Durga, with some sort of human sacrifice in progress on the steps. A man lay on the ground, his arms raised for mercy, and a menacing looking barbarian stood over him, brandishing his sword. Agitation. What is the meaning of agitation here? Agitation means disturbed state of mind. That means when he heard the sound or the cry of pain, he was totally disturbed and he just ran into the woods without giving any order to his troops or to his army or to his officers. Plunging through the undergrowth. That means here fall suddenly. Here plunging means here fall suddenly. So that means he ran into the woods, to the undergrowth. Here undergrowth means into the forest or into the woods. He entered with the thick plants or bushes. He fought his way till he came to a clearing. That means he ran into the bushes with full of trees or small plants and all. He just ran into until he reaches to the clearing. That means until he came to the clearing. Here clearing means he reached in front of a temple of Chandika. Chandika means here one of the form of goddess Durga. So he came to the temple of Chandika, where some sort of human sacrifice was going on the steps of the temple of Chandika. So when he reached there, he saw that someone is going to cut the head of a human on the steps of Chandika. A man lay on the ground, his arms raised for mercy. Here mercy means forgiveness. That means about to kill was raising his hands for mercy. That means he was seeking forgiveness, and that particular person only crying with the pain, or that cry only Meghavahana heard of. And in front of that man there was a menacing looking barbarian was standing. Here menacing means dangerous man. So dangerously looking barbarian. So what is the meaning of barbarian here? Here the barbarian means primitive, coarse or cruel human being. Here barbarian means a cruel human being, and he was standing in front of him who was looking so dangerously by brandishing his sword. Here brandish. What is the meaning of brandishing? Brandishing means display or show. He was showing the sword. That means he is about to cut the head of that poor human being. Okay, so this is the explanation of this paragraph. Here Meghavahana, by hearing the sound of pain, he quickly ran into the forest to save that man, or to see who was crying like that, or who was saying, under Meghavahana's kingdom I have been cut off something or someone. Okay, so he reached in front of the temple of Chandika. Here Chandika means one of the form of goddess Durga, and he saw that one dangerously looking barbarian was holding a sword in his hand to cut the head of a poorly looking human being on the steps of Chandika there. Paragraph 13. Stop, cried the king, shocked at the sight. You wretch, you dare threaten another's life in my realm? The barbarian dropped his sword in terror and fell on his knees before the king. O noble one, have mercy. I am the leader of a troop of barbarians that live in this wood. My little son has fallen prey to some disease and is on his deathbed. If I kill this man, the gods will be pleased and save my son's life. If you prevent this sacrifice, my son dies and the rest of my troop will give up their lives with him. Okay, so here the king said, that means the king Meghavahana, after seeing all that scene in front of him, he said, stop. And shocked at the sight, because he was shocked at the sight, that means he was shocked by looking at the human sacrifice right in front of him, that also kingdom. So that's why he said, you wretch. What do you mean by wretch? Here wretch means unfortunate person. That means such a cruel, unfortunate person you are, how you can threaten or how you can kill a life in my realm. What is the meaning of realm? Realm means your kingdom. He said, in my kingdom, how dare you can kill a life, he said. The barbarian, by hearing this, dropped his sword in terror. Means here he was afraid of, by looking at him, by hearing his words, and he dropped his sword and fell on his knees before the king, and he said, "O noble one," here noble one means here Meghavahana, the king of that kingdom, "have mercy, please forgive me," he said. Who said this? The barbarian said to the king of that kingdom. Who was the kingdom? Who was the king of that kingdom? Meghavahana. So have mercy, he said, means please forgive me. I am the leader of the troop of the barbarian that live in these woods. Means I am the leader of the troop of the barbarian, and we are living in this forest or in this wood. And my little son was not well, he is on the deathbed. So that's why I am killing this human as a human sacrifice, so that God will be pleased of me and can give life to my son, because he is about to die. So that's why I am doing this human sacrifice. Unless I do this, my son will die, and entire troop, means rest of my troop, will give up their lives with him. So that is the reason why I am doing this human sacrifice, told by the leader of the troop of barbarians, to whom here? To the king of that kingdom, Meghavahana. So what was the reason of that human sacrifice? He thought that if I sacrifice that human being, means one particular person who cried out in pain in front of goddess Chandika, by that time the goddess will be happy and will give life to his son, was his intention. So that's the reason why he was doing that human sacrifice, is the explanation of this paragraph. Paragraph number 40. Here, the king glanced towards a bundle on the temple porch and presumed it to be the sacrificed boy. His heart was torn with confusion and compassion. Here, the king once glanced. Here, glanced means hurried look. Very quickly he glanced or looked at the crowd here. Temple bundle. Bundle means here the crowd of people who were gathered in the temple porch. Porch means here gallery. So many number of people were gathered in the temple porch when this human sacrifice was going on. So that's why Meghavahana looked at him once, and he just presumed to the sacrificed boy. That means he just moved to the sacrificed boy or a man there. His heart was torn with confusion and compassion. Now he was under confusion. Now what to do? Because there was a question of two lives here. One was that of sacrificed boy, and another one was the son of the barbarian. So now he was under confusion and compassion. Here compassion means sympathy. He now had a sympathy towards that sacrificed boy also, and the boy of, or the son of that barbarian also. Now he was in total confusion. Paragraph 15. This man whom you desire to protect, continued the barbarian, was wandering about alone and friendless in the forest. Is he of more value to you than this child with whom many persons are connected? Here, this man, that means the barbarian was referring to a man who was going to be sacrificed on that day. Okay, so you wanted to protect this man, continued the barbarian, was wandering about alone and friendless in the forest. Means that particular man was alone. He had no one with him, no family, no one. So that's why the barbarian said he was friendless, he was alone, he was wandering about, means roaming in the forest. So you want to protect him? Asked by the barbarian to Meghavahana. So value to you than this child with whom many persons are connected? The meaning of this line is, the barbarian asked with Meghavahana, with my son, so many people are connected. If my son dies, everybody will die. But this man who is going to be sacrificed now, having no one in his life, he was alone, wandering in the forest. So who is having, or whose life is having more value now? Asked by the barbarian to Meghavahana. So all these reasons, or all these questions of the barbarian put Meghavahana in confusion. Number 16. The victim sat crying on the ground, a look of terror on his face. Tears fell from the barbarian's eyes. "Sir, tell me what to do," he cried. "I cannot see my son suffer this way." Here, the barbarian asked with him something when the victim means here the person who is going to be sacrificed that day, he sat on the ground. A look of terror means he was totally frightened. The fear was there. The look of fear was there on his face, and he started to cry also. By that time, the barbarian asked with Meghavahana, "Sir, tell me what to do now. I cannot see my son suffer this way. I cannot see my son on the deathbed. I cannot see him suffering a lot. Now tell me, give me a solution. What should I do now?" asked by the barbarian to Meghavahana. Paragraph 17. The king spoke firmly. "Do not be distressed. I will save your son as well as this victim. I offer my body in sacrifice to Chandika. Kill me, O barbarian. May these two persons live." So such a good-hearted one, Meghavahana, spoke firmly. That means he decided something and he said that don't be distressed. Here distressed means don't be in pain or sorrow. Do not worry about that. I will save your son's life as well as this victim's life, or that man who is going to be sacrificed there. I will save both the lives. What did he say for that? "Please offer my body to goddess Chandika. Kill me, O barbarian," Meghavahana said. "So may these two persons live forever," said by Meghavahana. So such a good-heartedness or a good-hearted person, Meghavahana, being the king of that kingdom, he was ready to sacrifice his own life for the sake of his subjects. So he wanted to save the lives of those two people. Because of that, he could be able to save the law, or he could be able to protect the law that he passed by himself. The barbarian, struggling between incredulity and fear, took a step backwards. "Sir, you are the king. Your life should be protected at all times. Do not pity this victim. Let him die. His life is of significance. His life is of no significance." The barbarian was struggling between the incredulity and fear. Here, incredulity means showing disbelief. He did not believe what Meghavahana said. What Meghavahana said? He said to kill him. So he felt scared of, as well as he did not believe his words. Okay, took a step backward and said, "You are the king. Your life should be protected at all times, dear king," said by the barbarian. Because if the king dies, his subjects will be orphaned. So that's why he said, "You should be protected. And don't show any pity or kindness to this man who was roaming around alone, because he's having no one in his life. So we can kill him. But your life is so precious because you are the king of this kingdom, and his life is of no significance." Significance means here importance. So his life is of no significance. So that's why now barbarian was also in confusion and fear. Okay, he got fear also what to do now. The king is asking such a question, or asking such a request to do. So that's why the barbarian was in a confusion. Paragraph 19. The king shook his head impatiently and said, "If I can use my body to stop a killing, why should I not? Do not speak another word, kill me." But the king Meghavahana was not ready to listen anything from the barbarian, and he said, impatient, he became impatient. He was not ready to listen anything from the barbarian, and he said, "If I can use my body," means this body, if I can use to stop a killing of two lives, then why should I not? I can do this. Do not speak another word. He ordered the barbarian and said, "Kill me." So the Meghavahana was such a true person, or a true king of that kingdom, who was ready to sacrifice his own life for the sake of his subjects, or to follow the law which he had passed by himself. So up to here we learned in today's class. Go through this video, children, and read the lesson, which is very important. Every day, if possible, you can read for 5 or 10 minutes and just improve your reading skills. Thank you.